Have you ever imagined that a magnificent temple, standing proudly for centuries, was born from a broken heart, a rejected love, and a merciless curse? Behind the beauty of Prambanan Temple lies a dark legend of obsession, betrayal, and supernatural power. This is not just a love story, it is a tragic tale where ambition defeats compassion, and love turns into eternal stone. Tonight, we uncover the cruel curse of Roro Jonggrang and the terrifying love of Bandung Bondowoso. Welcome to this channel, where ancient legends, dark folklore, and forgotten histories come back to life through powerful storytelling. Here, we explore myths that shaped civilizations and stories that still whisper through time. Before we continue, please support this channel by subscribing, liking this video, and sharing it with others who love legendary tales. Your support helps us keep these stories alive and bring you even more unforgettable legends in the next videos. Long before Prambanan rose toward the sky, the land of Central Java was ruled by a powerful kingdom known as Baka Kingdom. Its ruler, King Boko, was feared by enemies yet loved by his people. Though often described as harsh and intimidating, King Boko was a protector of his realm, standing as a living wall between his kingdom and those who sought to conquer it. Under his reign, the kingdom flourished. Farmers worked peacefully in fertile fields, temples echoed with prayers, and the palace stood as a symbol of strength and order. Yet beyond the horizon, darkness was slowly gathering. From the distant lands came a warrior whose name would one day be carved into legend. Bandung Bondowoso. Bandung Bondowoso was no ordinary man. He was a feared knight, known for his mastery of dark supernatural powers. Some said he was half human, half spirit. Others whispered that he had made a pact with unseen forces from the shadow world. Wherever he marched, kingdoms fell, and fear followed like a curse. Driven by ambition and hunger for power, Bandung Bondowoso set his eyes on Baka Kingdom. To him, conquest was not merely war, it was destiny. The night of the invasion arrived without mercy. Thunder roared above the battlefield as flames consumed villages on the outskirts of the kingdom. The clash between armies shook the earth, steel meeting steel in a storm of violence. Despite the bravery of King Boko's soldiers, they were no match for the dark strength that fueled Bandung, Bondowoso. At the heart of the battlefield, King Boko himself confronted the invader. Their duel was legendary, a clash between royal honor and ruthless ambition. The ground trembled beneath their feet as weapons collided, sparks flying like stars against the night sky. But destiny had chosen its victor, with one final, devastating strike empowered by forbidden forces. Bandung Bondowoso struck King Boko down. The king fell, and with him, the fate of the kingdom was sealed. The cries of victory echoed among the conquerors. While silence swallowed the defeated land, Baka Kingdom had fallen. As dawn broke, the palace gates stood shattered. Smoke drifted through the air, carrying the scent of ash and sorrow. Survivors mourned in silence, knowing their world had changed forever. Yet amid the ruins, something unexpected captured Bandung Bondowoso's attention. Inside the broken palace stood Princess Roro Jonggrang, the daughter of King Boko. She was nothing like the devastation around her. Her beauty was said to rival the morning sun, but it was her presence, calm, dignified, and unbroken, that stunned the conqueror. Even in grief, she carried herself with royal grace, her eyes reflecting sorrow, anger, and quiet strength. In that moment, something dangerous was born within Bondowoso's heart. It was not compassion. It was not regret. It was desire. The warrior who had crushed kingdoms now found himself captivated by the very daughter of the king he had slain. To him, possessing Roro Jonggrang was the final symbol of victory, not only over a kingdom, but over fate itself. Meanwhile, Roro Jonggrang stood before the man who had destroyed her world. Behind her composed expression burned hatred, pain, and a vow of resistance. She knew she was powerless in strength, but not in mind. As the ashes of Baka Kingdom settled, the stage was set for a tragedy far greater than war, a tale where love would be twisted into obsession, and ambition would demand an unforgivable price. The true curse had not yet begun, but its shadow had already fallen. In the days following the fall of Baka Kingdom, silence ruled the land like a heavy curse. The people lived in fear, their king gone, their future uncertain. At the center of this broken world stood Bandung Bondowoso, now the unquestioned ruler of the conquered kingdom. But his mind was no longer focused on war or power. It was consumed by Roro Jonggrang. Every time he recalled her calm gaze amid the ruins, his desire grew stronger. To Bandung Bondowoso, she was no longer merely a princess. She was the final trophy of conquest, the ultimate proof of his dominance. Summoning her to the palace, he declared his intention without hesitation. "Become my queen," he commanded, his voice firm, leaving no space for refusal. The words struck Roro Jonggrang like a blade. The man standing before her was the same warrior who had slaughtered her father and crushed her kingdom. The idea of standing beside him as his wife was unbearable, yet she understood one harsh truth. Refusal could mean death, not only for herself, but for what remained of her people. Hiding her hatred behind a composed expression, Roro Jonggrang lowered her gaze. In that moment, her mind raced. Searching for a path between survival and resistance, she finally spoke. "I will accept your proposal," she said softly, "but only if you fulfill one condition." A slow smile spread across Bandung Bondowoso's face. He believed victory was already his. "Name it," he replied confidently. "Nothing is beyond my power." Roro Jonggrang raised her eyes and met his gaze with unshaken calm. "Build me 1,000 temples in a single night before the sun rises." The court fell silent. Even the bravest warriors gasped in disbelief. The task was impossible, beyond human strength, beyond reason itself. Roro Jonggrang was certain this condition would save her. No man, no matter how powerful, could defeat time itself. But Bandung Bondowoso did not laugh. Instead, his smile widened. "You underestimate me," he said coldly. "I accept." That night, as darkness swallowed the land, Bandung Bondowoso climbed to a desolate hill and began chanting ancient incantations forbidden to ordinary men. The wind howled violently, and the ground trembled as if the earth itself was awakening. From the shadows emerged spirits and demons, summoned from the unseen realm. The jinn answered his call, their glowing eyes piercing the darkness. "Build," Bandung Bondowoso commanded. "Build until dawn." And once, the night turned unnatural. Stones lifted themselves from the ground. Massive blocks flew through the air as if weightless. The sound of carving echoed endlessly, a terrifying rhythm that filled the valley. One by one, temples rose toward the sky at impossible speed. Roro Jonggrang watched from the palace, her heart sinking with every structure completed. Fear tightened her chest as she realized the unthinkable was happening. Hundreds of temples stood before midnight. By the time the moon reached its highest point, the number had grown terrifyingly close to completion for the first time. Doubt crept into her mind. Had she misjudged him? Had her plan doomed her instead? As the night deepened, the count reached 999. Panic overtook her. Knowing time was running out, Roro Jonggrang summoned her loyal servants and whispered a desperate plan. Together, they lit fires across the eastern horizon, pounded rice mortar, and awakened roosters to crow as if morning had arrived. The illusion worked, believing dawn had come. The jinn screamed in terror and vanished back into the darkness. Leaving the final temple unfinished, relief washed over Roro Jonggrang. But it lasted only seconds. Bandung Bondowoso arrived at the site and counted the temples himself. His eyes burned with fury as he realized the truth. "You deceived me," he growled, his voice trembling with rage. The love he claimed to feel shattered instantly, replaced by hatred darker than the night itself. In that moment, Roro Jonggrang understood she had escaped marriage, but awakened something far more terrifying. The price of defiance was about to be paid. The night grew unnaturally silent. No crickets sang. No wind whispered through the trees. Even the stars seemed to retreat, as if afraid to witness what was about to unfold. Under the pale glow of the moon, Bandung Bondowoso stood alone on the hill, his shadow stretching long across the earth. Like a living omen, he raised his hands and began to chant. The words that escaped his lips were ancient, older than kingdoms, older than memory. They were not meant for human ears. With every syllable, the air thickened, pressing down like an invisible weight. The ground beneath him trembled, responding to the forbidden call. Suddenly, the earth cracked open. From the Leia between worlds emerged beings not born of flesh, the Jinn. Their forms shifted between smoke and shadow, eyes glowing with unnatural light. Some towered like giants, others crawled low. Whispering in voices that scraped against the soul, they bowed before Bandung Bondowoso. Bound by the ancient pact, he commanded. "You have been summoned," he said coldly. "Build 1,000 temples before dawn." Jinn obeyed without question. What followed was a night unlike any other in human history. Massive stones ripped themselves from the ground and floated into the air as if freed from gravity. Cliffs crumbled effortlessly, their fragments reshaping into perfect blocks mid-flight. The sound of chisels echoed endlessly, though no hands were visible carving them. Temple after temple rose from the darkness. Columns lined themselves with unnatural precision. Walls assembled in seconds. Roofs locked into place as if guided by an unseen architect. The valley glowed faintly with eerie light, illuminated by supernatural fire that cast twisted shadows across the land. From afar, the scene looked like a nightmare painted in stone. Time lost its meaning. Hours passed like seconds. By midnight, hundreds of temples stood where empty land once lay. The Jinn worked relentlessly, their movements fast and mechanical. Driven by a force stronger than will obedience, high above the palace walls, Roro Jonggrang watched. Each completed temple struck her heart like a drumbeat of doom. Her breath grew shallow as the numbers climbed. The impossible task she had set was being completed before her eyes. Fear replaced confidence. She realized then that Bandung Bondowoso was not simply a powerful warrior. He was something far more dangerous, a man who could bend the unseen world to his command. As the moon sank lower, the count reached 900. Roro Jonggrang's hands trembled. Her plan, once clever and certain, now threatened to trap her in an unescapable fate. If the 1,000th temple rose before sunrise, she would belong to the man she despised forever. Below, Bandung Bondowoso watched the progress with calm satisfaction. His gaze was cold, unwavering. To him, the temples were not acts of devotion or beauty. They were weapons of dominance. Proof that no mortal or destiny could deny it. Then came the final moments. The count reached 995. The sky began to pale slightly at the horizon, a warning that dawn was approaching. The Jinn moved faster, their shadows blurring as they rushed to complete the final structures. 996, 997, 998. The air pulsed violently. When the 999th temple stood complete, a heavy silence fell across the valley. Only one remained. Roro Jonggrang's heart raced wildly. There was no time left, no other plan, only desperation. In a moment of sheer panic, she acted, calling her servants. She ordered them to light torches across the eastern fields. Mortars struck rice with thunderous rhythm. Roosters were awakened, confused and terrified. And soon their cries pierced the night. The illusion of dawn spread rapidly. The Jinn froze, believing the sun had risen. They screamed in terror. One by one, their forms dissolved into smoke, retreating back into the unseen realm. The supernatural glow vanished. Leaving behind unfinished stone and sudden darkness, the valley fell silent once more. The temple stood still. Only 999 relief flooded Roro Jonggrang's body as she collapsed to her knees. She had escaped the impossible, but beneath that relief lurked a chilling truth. She had deceived a man who commanded demons. And somewhere in the darkness, Bandung Bondowoso stood motionless, staring at the incomplete temple, his breathing slow, his rage gathering like a storm yet to break. The night was over, but the curse had not yet begun. The false dawn faded as quickly as it had appeared. The torches burned low. The roosters fell silent, and the eastern sky returned to darkness. What remained was a valley frozen in uneasy stillness, filled with towering stone temples that stood like witnesses to a great deception. Bondowoso walked slowly among them. His footsteps echoed between the structures as he counted each temple in silence. One by one, carefully, without emotion. His fingers brushed the cold stone as if memorizing every imperfection. 990, 995, 998, 990-9. He stopped. The final space stood empty. For a long moment, he said nothing. The night air felt heavier, thick with tension. Even the wind seemed afraid to move. The man who had commanded demons now stood utterly still, his face unreadable. Then he laughed. It was not the laugh of victory, but of realization. Slowly, Bandung Bondowoso raised his head and gazed toward the palace. His eyes burned with a fury deeper than fire, sharper than steel. In that instant, he understood everything. The fires, the noise, the illusion of morning. "You dared to deceive me," he whispered, his voice trembling, not with weakness, but with restrained rage. As he climbed the palace steps, Roro Jonggrang felt the weight of his presence long before she saw him. Her servants fled in terror, sensing the darkness that surrounded him. Only she remained standing, forcing herself to meet his gaze. "You failed," she said quietly, though her heart pounded violently. The condition was not fulfilled. For a brief second, Bandung Bondowoso looked at her, truly looked at her, as if searching for something that had never existed. "Failed?" he repeated softly. In a sudden motion, he raised his hand, and the ground shook beneath him. The palace walls cracked, dust falling like rain. The power he held surged uncontrollably, no longer restrained by desire. "You stole victory through lies," he roared. "You turned my devotion into mockery." Roro Jonggrang stood firm, though fear clawed at her chest. She had won through intelligence, not strength. But victory tasted bitter now, for she could see what she had unleashed. "I did what I had to do," she replied. "I would never belong to the man who killed my father." The words cut deeper than any weapon. Bandung Bondowoso staggered back as if struck. For the first time, pain crossed his face, not physical, but something far more dangerous in that moment. Love died. What remained was humiliation, and humiliation demanded punishment. "You speak of justice," he said coldly. "Then you shall become the justice you sought." Dark energy gathered around his body, swirling like a violent storm. The sky darkened once more, clouds spinning unnaturally overhead. The earth responded to his anger. Trembling as ancient forces awakened again, Roro Jonggrang felt her limbs grow heavy, as if the air itself was turning to stone. "No," she whispered, realizing too late what was happening. Bondowoso extended his hand toward her, his voice echoing with supernatural authority. "If you deny me as a woman," he declared, "then you shall fulfill the final temple as stone." The curse struck instantly. A chilling numbness spread from Roro Jonggrang's feet upward. Her body stiffened, her breath froze in her lungs. She tried to scream, but her lips hardened before sound could escape. Her skin turned pale, then gray, then cold as carved rock, her eyes wide with fear and defiance, with a last to turn in moments. The princess was no longer human. She stood as a perfect stone statue, silent, eternal. Trapped between life and death, the wind howled mournfully as the curse completed itself. Bandung Bondowoso stepped back.
Staring at what he had done?
The rage that fueled him slowly faded, replaced by emptiness. The 1000th temple was complete, not built by demons, but forged from broken love and irreversible wrath. The valley fell silent once more. The temple stood tall, bathed in the pale light of approaching dawn. Among them, one figure remained motionless, the final offering to ambition, obsession, and betrayal. And thus, the cruelest curse of love was sealed. Dawn finally arrived. Soft golden light spilled across the valley, revealing a landscape forever changed. Where empty land once lay, 1,000 stone temples now stood in solemn silence. Their towering forms reached toward the sky, majestic yet haunting, as if the earth itself mourned what had been sacrificed to create them. At the heart of it all stood the final statue, Roro Jonggrang. Her stone eyes faced the horizon, frozen in an expression that seemed to hold sorrow, defiance, and quiet dignity all at once. Though her body had turned to stone, her presence dominated the valley more powerfully than any temple around her. Bandung Bondowoso stood alone before the statue. The fury that had driven him through the night had faded, leaving behind a hollow emptiness. For the first time since the conquest, he felt the weight of what he had done. Victory no longer tasted sweet. Power no longer brought satisfaction. He had won, and yet, he had lost everything. The temples were complete, but the cost was irreversible. The woman he desired stood before him as lifeless stone, a reminder that love forced through fear becomes destruction, not devotion. Legends say Bandung Bondowoso left the valley soon after. Some believe he vanished into exile, haunted by the statue that stared endlessly into the rising sun. Others whispered that the spirits he once commanded turned against him, punishing him for abusing their power. His fate, like many legends, was swallowed by time, but the curse did not fade. The stone statue of Roro Jonggrang became the heart of the great temple complex, now known as Prambanan. To this day, many believe the statue of Durga Mahesasura Mardi within the temple represents her not as a goddess, but as a princess trapped between love and vengeance. As centuries passed, the kingdom vanished, names turned into myths, and memories blurred into legend. Yet the temples endured. Earthquakes shook them. War scarred the land. Time tried to erase them, but Prambanan remained. Standing tall, the temples became silent storytellers. Their walls whispered of ambition unchecked, of power without mercy, and of a love that should never have been demanded. Travelers who walk among the stones often speak of an unusual stillness. Some say they feel watched. Others feel a quiet sadness in the air, as if the valley still remembers the night. When demons worked and a princess became stone, whether these whispers are real or imagined, the legend lives on, passed from generation to generation, carved deeper into memory than into stone. The story of Roro Jonggrang is not merely a tale of supernatural curses. It is a warning that love without consent becomes tyranny. That ambition without compassion leads only to ruin. And that intelligence used for survival may still demand a heavy price today. Prambanan stands not just as an architectural masterpiece, but as a monument to human emotion, to pride, grief, desire, and regret. It reminds us that history is not always built by heroes, but often by flawed souls whose choices echo far beyond their lifetimes. As the sun climbs higher, light dances across the ancient stones. The temples remain silent, unmoving, eternal, but the curse endures, not as magic, but as memory, and as long as Prambanan stands beneath the Javanese sky, the tragic love of Roro Jonggrang and Bandung Bondowoso will never truly fade. The legend of Roro Jonggrang reminds us that not every grand creation is born from greatness. Some are shaped by pain, fear, and irreversible choices. What stands today as a magnificent cultural treasure was once the silent witness of a broken heart, and a love that was never meant to be forced. Through this story, we learn that true love cannot grow from power or intimidation. When desire ignores consent, it transforms into cruelty. When ambition stands above compassion, it leaves nothing but regret. Even intelligence, when driven by desperation, can carry consequences that last forever, as we admire the beauty of Prambanan Temple. Let us also remember the lesson carved within its stones, that humanity is defined not by strength alone, but by empathy, respect, and restraint. Thank you for staying with us until the end of this story. Your time, attention, and support mean more than words can express. If you enjoyed this legend, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video so these ancient stories continue to live on. Until we meet again in the next video. Keep exploring the mysteries of the past, because every legend still has a voice waiting to be heard.